No, that's not gonna. I thought I had a transition there. Hold on.
Hey guys, Broke Black Man here. I know what you're all about to say. Where is your Nostalgia's a Bitch episode reaction? Celine and his sister burned to a crisp by Gabe.
Best friend.
Very old friend.
I wouldn't say friends.
Let us pledge that the winner will allow the loser all the proper funeral rituals.
Totally did, right?
No. Now you know who you're fighting.
The king in the north!
In there, hold on.
Sunshine, you make me happy when the skies are
Did it
gray.
ever once occur to you that I might have some insight?
What should I do differently?
I don't know. I don't know anything about battles.
That's good advice.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
What's going on, everybody? It's Justin Thomas. Welcome to YouTube Confidential. Today we're going to be taking a look at the genre of reaction videos. Highly controversial. Very few people who are actually indifferent on this subject. You either love it or hate it from what I've found. We have a special guest insider who does reaction videos himself. He makes some great content. I'd like to welcome to the show Broke Black Man. Give you an idea of what he does. He does Westworld videos, Supernatural, he does movie trailers, Vampire Diaries, The Walking Dead, The Flash, Supergirl, even anime and manga, Legends of Tomorrow, and even some video game content. I'd like to welcome to the show. He's a great guy, and he's going to give us a look inside the world of reaction videos. Again, this is YouTube Confidential. Nobody could ever hate that Logan trailer. Okay, that's just fucked up that you'd even bring that up, man. I thought you were cool on.
I don't know what's wrong with YouTube. I don't know. In my opinion, I think YouTube needs to get laid, and then all our problems will be solved.
Yeah, maybe they don't own the rights to getting laid, though, so they just don't want to infringe on those copyright laws. As I said, we have Broke Black Man with us today who does reaction-based content. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, started out in October 13th, and I started to do reaction-based content. Originally, I was going to do, like, movie reviews, but, you know, some of my acquaintances said, like, hey, you know, you should do reaction videos since on my channel you kind of like it. So I said, hey, why not? So I started out doing, like, movie trailers, and then later on I started doing TV shows, and then I did a little bit of manga reactions and also video games.
So you've been at it since October, so that's about 3 months. You got some pretty impressive numbers here, so people are obviously taking note of you. I watched some of your videos, or a lot of your videos actually, when I was researching for this segment, and I really enjoy them. But what led you to the genre of reaction videos? What made you want to do that other than doing your recaps or review shows, for example?
Well, what made me want to do reaction videos is just like, for those who would join a club, for instance, like they want to meet other people who have like same certain interests and like talk about it, you know. So I'm like, hey, let me actually do something. Let me do reaction videos. Let me actually watch shows that other people are interested in, see my reaction towards it, see if they too had similar reactions or different intakes, and hopefully in the comment section we can actually talk about it.
So you encourage a dialogue with your viewers/fans?
Yeah, like in my videos, I try not to be completely silent, even though there are videos where there are certain scenes I actually do put up where I'm just completely silent or just say one or two words. I kind of cringe over that. But most of the time, I just try to like put out some type of dialogue or gesture or something.
Until I was researching for this topic, I haven't really watched too many people. Now, of course, I run the Westworld Amino, and you were a part of that. So I would say, had a little bit of an idea of some of your videos, because when you post through that site, I'll usually watch everybody's content. So I had a little taste, but I guess I didn't know the appeal of it. So I was thinking a little bit about that saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So instead of reviewing something in the traditional sense, whether it's a blog or doing a video blog. We really do want to know what people think about something. So seeing somebody react to something is sometimes maybe more telling than even hearing them give commentary or review of an episode after it airs. So I think people can really get a read just from watching people, but also I think it is important, and I do like how you inject that into your videos, because I definitely do not want to watch somebody just completely silent, because there's that nice little saying, like I said, that does relate, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but I do need a few words. I might not need 1,000, but I do enjoy a little bit of commentary with it. So I think it's a nice little mix that you have with it. I think you do it pretty well.
Thank you, because that's how I was introduced to reaction video is content over YouTube. Like, I was searching up, it was like a trailer to a movie, and I was like, let me just go online and like search other stuff about it. And then suddenly I go and I find out a whole bunch of set of people reacting to it. I'm like, what? People actually do this for a living? So I just started watching one video, and then I got recommended to watch other videos, and then, then I see these YouTubers have a whole channel devoted to reaction videos. I'm like, where have I been?
Yeah, that's definitely me, late to the game. I think that I get caught up in my little niche areas, and I tend not to look outside of them, even when there are people that, like your PewDiePie and other YouTubers that are just huge, that are kind of just your basic entertainment media and just kind of give a general outlook on the business in general and things they're interested in. You can't say that they are, they're not people that just review certain shows. They are just social media stars, I guess, as you would call them. But I never just dove into it, like I said, because I didn't have any ill feeling, which we'll talk about a little bit later. There are some people that, and this is going to happen with everything. There's always going to be people that just completely dislike something and they want to discredit it. And so, it's nothing new. But I think reaction videos definitely, I think it's fair to say, have stirred up a little bit more of a controversy. I want to talk a little bit more about the shows that you actually focus on. You do the Vampire Diaries, you do Gotham, you do video games, you do movie trailers, Supernatural, The Flash, The Walking Dead. What is manga?
Well, manga is like Japanese comic books, They have more, in my opinion, you can have a debate on this, though, but in my opinion, it's like a little bit more dramatic. It's not going to have that much light tone as, regular comic books are. But it's almost like the same realm of it. It's just more in the Japanese culture. You would see, when you go, not much in America, you would not see, like, everyone reading comic books. But when you go to, like, Japan, you'll see everyone, like, either reading manga or it's always in the stores. No matter where you go, it's, like, embedded in their culture.
Would you, when you say it's a little heavier in tone, is it more like our graphic novels over here? Is that relatable?
Yes, it is relatable to it, though. But with these manga, they're a little bit more emotional. They will actually get into topics of a little bit more prejudice and gore and violence than some comic books and graphic novels of today. Not saying that there aren't as much, but it's a little bit more public with it, and they're not afraid to touch on certain subjects.
So they hit some heavier topics, and they dive into some social issues, some controversial, which is definitely more controversial than maybe your basic narrative of your classic superhero, where it's bad guys are robbing the bank and Spider-Man's here to save them. It might be like realistic or relatable issues in comic books, which maybe the American comics, just maybe that's not what they're for. They're not there to hit the hard issues, but I think that's definitely cool. So how do you actually react to a comic book?
Yeah, I haven't done as much. I've done a few, which I'm trying to do a little bit more, but on a separate channel. But for me, doing that, it's very tricky. I can't really show page per page. So it's almost like a read out loud when you in your pre-K and kindergarten days when the teacher does read out louds. But here, I try to like put in more of a reaction face, you know, as you're seeing me do my reactions, you see me reacting towards it, I kind of react page by page and not just read, do a reaction. Now I try to like give feedback per page, you know, which is kind of like a little bit difficult because again, like people aren't seeing everything, so I have to like give a like description of per page.
Gotcha.
You know?
What's the rules with that? Are you able to show the panels on screen?
No, I try not to. Even though some YouTubers mess around with it, you know, try to like show the panel of the pages and like add color or something towards it. But I don't want to do that, end up getting a copyright, you know, take the video down or something, you know, because from my understanding, when you even do manga or even anime, like YouTube and then the creators, they are very touchy feeling about their content.
Is there a difference between what makes a good show and what makes a good show / movie to react to? Like, is there shows in your personal life that they're not necessarily something that's going to translate well to the content?
Okay. Is there such thing as a good show or a good movie? It always depends on the viewer. For me, I love Supergirl. I react to it. Because when I watch it, I'm not just completely dead towards it. That's why it's good for me to do a reaction towards it. Mm-hmm. Now, even though Supergirl may be a good show for me to watch, not everyone is going to love Supergirl. Let's face it. I remember one time when my own subscriber was like, yeah, I see you watch Supergirl. I really don't like it. You know, I think it's a little bit too girly or not just as good as the other, you know, superhero shows like The Flash or Gotham or Arrow Legends of Tomorrow. But again, it all depends on the viewer if it's something that's good to react to. You know, for instance, I did a reaction on Westworld, and I love doing Westworld reactions. But then another YouTuber did a reaction towards Westworld, and he's all like, I don't get what everyone likes about this show. I hardly understand anything. And he just did only just one episode reaction towards it. So again, it all depends on the viewer, the reactor, if a show is good for he or she.
Yeah, I guess that obviously people aren't going to want to really watch somebody react to something they have no interest in unless they're just hoping that if they hate something that somebody else hates something too. But if it's, like you mentioned, this other YouTuber, I guess you'd consider that to be a one-off. They just did one, and then they didn't continue doing any more. So I actually, even though some people might have a problem with that, I can see that. You know, it's the same way as giving a bad review if you're a film critic. So,
but also that can also work, though. Excuse me for interrupting, though. But
no, you're fine.
Yeah, because either you like it or you don't. Because I do see some YouTubers who hate a particular show, but they still react towards it because people love to see that person just trash on that show.
Yeah, I guess that all comes back to the idea of you want to see people that feel the same way you do about something, whether it's a film critic that you read or watch. You tend to stick with the people that have the same taste as you. You're not going to go to somebody that's just going to shit on all the shows and intellectual properties that you personally like. But also, it's human nature, and it's probably not a great quality, but we enjoy hearing negativity about things that we feel negative about. If we really dislike something, it's the same as if we really like something. We want to see somebody else really hate it just as much as we want to see somebody really like something that we like. So I guess, I mean, with what I think people are looking for out of these videos, which we'll get into a little deeper here in a minute, I think it makes just as much sense, or it's fair to say that it's just as relatable and marketable for people to do negative reactions on some shows as it is to do positive ones, because there's probably just as many people that hate shows that love shows, especially some of these bigger shows. If you dislike something, it's like positive reformation. That's why people watch it. People want to see how people really feel. They don't want to see how they want you to think they feel. Maybe they were confused and they don't want to seem like they're not intelligent. Maybe they didn't get something. Like, say you're watching Westworld where they didn't get something, because that fucking happened. I run a Westworld blogging community, and I had to rewatch some stuff. I mean, maybe they're like, oh man, I don't want to look dumb, so yeah, I'll do this. I'll, make that nice little, I get it, instead of what the fuck just happened. So yeah, I see a lot of issues just because how we are as humans. It's not natural for us to want to be depicted in what we see as something that's not a good light. So there's no way that they're not going to be compromised. I kind of heard arguments similar to that they are creating better content by viewing it before because they have more time to think about how they really felt. But I think that's a that's a rocky road, but I'm not here to judge. So you start off, do you watch the episode before you actually do the reaction?
Oh no, it's all a one-shot deal. I'm not those type of reactors who first watch it and then do like another take, like, okay, now I'm gonna watch it again, but as I'm reacting. No.
I think a lot of people have the sense that it is so easy to make reaction content, and that all you're doing is watching a show and recording it and then uploading it to YouTube. So what is the actual process like? If you could lay out what are the steps that you take when creating your content? What is your average day like when you are going to be doing a video, from the time that you watch it to the time that it hits?
Okay, so I react to the episode an hour after it airs on live TV. I don't do it as it airs. I just do it an hour after. So during like 50 minutes when the show's like about to wrap up, I open up my program called OBS, Open Broadcaster Software. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
Yeah. Oh, that is like the best program. It's so universal. When I started the podcast, I got familiar with it. I'm still working with it. So yeah, I love it. There's a lot to it, but it's so universal. Sorry, go ahead. We're not sponsored by anybody, but I'll just act like sponsored by OBS. It's the shit.
Yeah, so I create on the OBS, I create 2 scenes, my FaceTime and then my reaction scene. One scene will have sources saying it's going to be capturing my monitor and it's going to be capturing my video device. Then one FaceTime is going to be just capturing my video capture device, where it's just going to be focusing just on me. The other one, monitor, so you can see what am I reacting to. There, I try to put my mic on high volume, and then whatever being shown on the monitor, it's on a little bit low. So you can hear more of me than more of the video, because I hope my viewers are more pay attention on me and what I'm saying than the actual video. I hope.
No, yeah, when I was watching your videos, I was like, why doesn't this guy just shut up? I'm just trying to watch this. So yeah, I agree. I think it's a little, because we talked about this a little bit before, and I'd like to bring it up, that there's always, when you're making any type of content, this goes for if you're writing a blog, if you have a reaction channel, or if you're a reviewer on YouTube or have a podcast, there's always going to be mixed feelings, and you put something on the internet and people are going to find an opinion on it, and they're going to find something to argue about. But you do have people that want you to speak more, but you also have people that you've seen, at least maybe not personally, but you've seen people request other reaction content creators to speak less.
Yes, I have. It always baffled me every time. It's called a reaction, and you want them to talk less or not at all. So what do you want them to do? Just show you the clip? Which, if you want to do that, then why don't you go on a different website and just get...
Are they... Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, but are they not aware that television exists? Maybe they only know YouTube as the platform, in reaction videos in particular. That's the only source they're aware of to get this content. They're like, well, I can only watch Supergirl if I watch this guy watch it. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just, maybe there's some ignorance. But yeah, that's crazy to me. I definitely want to see, a little bit of commentary at least. I know it's a lot to do with your physical actions, but yeah, you gotta talk. I mean, you're not just, what the hell? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get what people would get out of that, but I'm not here to judge. So, so you start off, people accused of it, but I think that some people might just have a different process, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, that's not for me to decide anyways, but it could be looked at as them really trying to provide better content, because they don't work as well without more of a formatted system. So you definitely go out of your way and take more time to assure that you have authentic reactions. But do you think that your reactions could be more entertaining if they weren't authentic? I guess that's my question. And we're taking the ethical issue out of it. We're not going to make a judgment on it. I'm going to kind of just relate it to, like I said, something being scripted or unscripted. So do you think it just makes you more authentic, or do you think it makes you better as well?
In my opinion, it makes me a little bit more authentic, because whoever I'm watching, I'm getting it for the first time. This is going to be me and my reaction towards it, brand new. If it was scripted, I wouldn't feel as if it's like purely real. It's like I was like supposed to say this at that certain time, you know, it was all planned out. Versus me doing it with the OBS, for watching for the first time, if I'm gonna say something that I didn't plan on saying because I never saw it before, it's a little bit more real.
Yeah, I guess that I probably didn't phrase it too well. Obviously, it's more authentic, but I guess my question is, do you feel that people have an edge because we're not saying whether it's obviously, I give a lot more respect to people that do it like you. I guess the question is, do you really think that gives them an edge? We're going to do a hypothetical, and you didn't care about the authenticity of it. Do you think that you would have an edge by crafting reactions? Because I think that it's pretty obvious when people are doing it, so I think it actually depletes the quality of their content. So I did improv, and when I went to acting school and all that, and I do well usually off script. So, like I said, some people don't. So I guess what I'm trying to get at, do you think that you sacrifice maybe appeal, because you could be a little bit more dramatic, or you could really, craft out the way that you're going to react by sticking to your morals and making authentic reactions to these videos? Do you think it gives people an edge if they don't?
In my opinion, it does give them more of an edge. And I'm not hating on people who actually do have a script or anything, but when I see certain reactors and they say, oh, I've seen this before, but I'm just going to do it again for you guys, I get sometimes a little bit hurt or discouraged, because how do I know that this reaction I'm about to see now is either it's not going to be poorly done, or not less excited than how you first reacted to it. For instance, if, let's say, the new Wolverine trailer dropped, and you already saw it before, and now you're going to do it again, but for your audience, it's going to be totally different. How do I know that you just hated the actual trailer, but since you have this character who's always charismatic and always loves almost every single thing of Marvel, you're just going to pretend to be loving the whole entire trailer, and you're basically just selling it to me. I would rather see you hate it and saying, okay, maybe this person actually hated it, and he can actually give good, actually intelligent points of why he hated it. But if he's going to do another reaction where it's scripted of him loving it, to me, it's...
Well, yeah, and I definitely agree that it's fake. And no, well, number one, though, I just want to say that nobody could ever hate that Logan trailer. Okay, that's just fucked up that you'd even bring that up, man. I thought you were cool. I mean, I'm
not hating. This is just an example.
There's a certain intellectual property, and you have a fan base that you built up. Chances are your fans also like the same intellectual property that you have consistently shown support for. So I guess they could most likely, if they're smart, be worried that going off brand and disliking would not sit well with however many subscribers they might have. They have set a trend or a precedent for how they feel about something like the MCU or anything, going against that might be a worry for them. So I definitely agree that, taking the extra steps to be authentic is not only the right thing to do, but I just want to mention again, you've only been doing this for 3 months, and 3.3K is a very respectable number. It's not, of course, gonna make you a bunch of money, but for somebody that's been doing that 3 months, that it shows you're doing something right, because that's not the norm. I would just go ahead and say that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I guarantee you fall into the smaller portion of the percentage when it comes to how many people after 3 months are getting views like that. So you're doing something right. I guess it's just probably harder to pin down exactly what reaction creators are doing right. Maybe that's a little bit of an issue as well.
Their personality, what they're actually bringing towards the table. Am I just, am I getting over carried away here? Because I remember hearing you say certain stuff like, how reactors be pushing stuff and throwing things. Like, is it doing over the top things? Like, okay, it's just a reaction video. It's not real life, I hope. People watch like regular TV shows, and some people do watch the news, which, hey, does, get people riled up. I understand.
Oh, no, there's nothing in the news right now that's controversial. There's within the last month or so that's even been anything anybody's been arguing about. Nobody's taking to the streets.
Most definitely.
Yeah, everything's going real well. So, but yeah, I guess that it is important. Well, it's just like anything, and I guess the argument, getting back to what is the appeal and what is, on the flip side, what is it that makes people hate it so much? I think maybe it's the misconception of it doesn't take any work and it doesn't provide anybody with any type of insight. But I guess the thing is, I think it's just the format that really causes the controversy, because they feel people are just sitting there, even though when people watch this that enjoy it, they are looking for people's opinion on something. You're giving it to them in a different form, because exactly. They can say anybody can make a reaction video, but okay, anybody can do a podcast too, with the same amount of work, sometimes less. And I'm not saying one way or another, because I obviously, I told you I am not, only because I never explored it, and that's not the medium that I use to get my information. But now that I've done the research for this, I've found you, and I have found other people that I've subscribed to, and I'm starting to use it. So it's not like I just want to make it clear that I'm not advocating one way or another for, I'm not saying that people don't understand how great this type of content is. I'm just simply saying that this content is just as valid as any of the other content on YouTube, because anybody can make a review show or a recap show as well. There's no difference. You're both watching the show or film or whatever intellectual property that is featured, and you are providing a commentary on it. You're doing it in a different form, but you're doing the same thing. A person that is not well informed about a show, does a review show or recap show, is not giving anything more to the audience than somebody that is doing a bad job with their reactions, is my point. So I think that it's important for people to know that it's just a different medium, in my opinion at least. And yeah, me personally, I want to go for more of the commentary, and I think that's why I enjoy your content, is because you have a nice mix of both physical and vocal commentary. So I think that maybe it's just the idea of you guys aren't doing as much as other people, because I think that's unfair to say. It's because it takes the same amount of work. So it's YouTube. Everybody's got an opinion, That's why anybody can have a YouTube channel. And I think that people maybe not understanding that, myself included, I never hated it, but like I said, I just didn't really find the need to seek out, reaction content. But I definitely see the appeal of it now, and I definitely see the benefits of it.
As kind of like those America Got Talent shows, or British Got Talent, where everyone's got a talent, The thing is, can you do something different from the next person or the one who went previously before you? You know?
Yeah.
And if you don't, then what's the point of me watching your channel when I can just simply watch this other person's channel and does basically the same thing as you do, but a little bit better, a little bit more spontaneous? You know, it's really competition here.
What do you think makes you different? And do you really, at this point, because it is such a large community now, that there are people that might fancy themselves, for lack of a better word, a certain type of reactor? Are there different, like, are there subgenres? Is it got to
When I look at it, I just see that we're all just simply reactors, but we all don't react to the same thing. For instance, at times when you're just reacting to trailers, TV shows, then there's people who react to YouTube videos. There's people who just react to the news. There are people who react to other YouTube videos where, am I offended with it? No, because even then it's like, who's really getting the views and stuff? The individual who actually came up with that YouTube video, or the person who's doing the reaction to that? You know, are they using the full thing or not? It's a huge controversial subject on that alone.
Yeah, I think that's where people really get angry, and that is where
It happened to me before, and so far I haven't got angry yet, because when Pearson...
Wait, somebody's reacted to your reaction?
Not like hey, I'm going to be reacting to Broke Black Man, but a little bit different, where they took my reaction of manga. I did like a live reaction to a manga chapter before, and someone took my certain clips of my video and put in their video. And then there's another YouTuber, I forget his name, I know it's Leon something, Leon Andrew Raison, where he takes every other like reactors clips of a certain scene. Like, for instance, he might get like the Walking Dead Negan scene and have like a whole bunch of reactors and their clips of that reaction. And the way they do it, at least he, like, at the end of his video, he does a special thanks to everyone and puts their channel links in the description. And I actually like that, and I'm okay with it. At least he's like mentioning, okay, where I got it from, and, you know, go look at this person's channel. That's one thing. But if you just simply just take someone's video, don't give credit to them whatsoever in the description box or whatever, and you just, you know, trying to make that your own, that's something where I kind of cross the line.
Well, yeah, I mean, and there's, yeah, like I said, in a minute here, obviously this isn't a show about legal issues, and I'm not a lawyer by any way, but the controversy over fair use and copyright law itself is, some of these arguments are being brought in front of the highest levels of our judicial system right now, so it's definitely an issue. And even like you just said about, I forget his name at the moment, but this creator that puts the links for people's videos and he cites them so he gives credit, yeah, that's admirable, you know, that's nice, but there is still an issue. In my opinion, I would have a huge issue with that still, because I don't know what the state of fair use is right at this moment, because it changes so much within YouTube. I don't know what is going on as far as when you make your claim right now. From the last that I heard, they might have changed it. Here, let me break it down. When you have somebody that has a copyright infringement, when they use material, content that you've created without your permission, you have to make a claim on YouTube. And now for people like BBM here and myself and anybody else that is any independent creators, which YouTube is mostly made up of, until you get people that they have people that actually can take legal action for them. But if you're an independent user on YouTube, an independent creator, and you have a copyright claim, you have to go on, first off, you have to identify it, so that means you have to be aware of it. So whether you're scanning for your videos or you have people that tell you, you're at a disadvantage right there, because these bigger people in corporations, they have bots, and they're immediately notified, and then it immediately will alert the user, and it will immediately issue the claim. we have to first off search out videos if they're being used without our permission, and then we have to go through the process of filing the claim, which is, it's just a form, but it takes some time. So the point is, when the videos that make money are popular or get the most attention, or they get this right when they're released. So by the time you have made your claim, and hopefully you found it right away, even if you find it within the first minute and you file your claim as an independent creator on YouTube, a good 48 hours at least, and usually up to a month is going to go by. They're going to take the video down, but the claim won't be settled for at least a month. And the last I heard, the profit that this person that they're monetized made off that video in the time in between the claim being filed and it being resolved, they get to keep that money still. So it's really not a good deal for anybody, because it's like, yeah, he let everybody know that it was in this contemplation about where they can find them and who was in it, but what he really should have done is seeked out approval for using their content in the first place. You can't just give a nod to somebody that you're using their content for. You have to ask. You're infringing on their rights. So by the time 48 hours goes by on YouTube, if anybody's making money off a video, they pretty much made it. So, and no matter how it falls, which side it falls to as the legality of the issue, they still get to keep that initial money. I guess this was created to actually try to protect us as independent creators, because people can also do the opposite. They can make a claim on a video or content, whatever, that's not theirs. So if they freeze the assets for that, again, in the first few days that it's up, usually the first 2 days, that's when it makes all of its money. So if you don't have access to that, people can just jam you up. People can make false claims now. Yeah, it's technically perjury, but a lot of people don't give a shit, and I don't think they're really prosecuting people. So yeah, a lot of people got. I think Chad Michael Clay, he does these silly, like Weird Al type videos, but he actually had a video on it because he was a victim of it. People were just filing copyright claims on his videos just to be a dick, because at that point he would not receive the money for it, and then the first few days would go by where you're making all your money, and he never had access to those funds. But it's kind of a double-edged sword, like I said, because this guy now can be like, oh yeah, and I just want to shout out, and I put the links to everybody's videos that I used, but now it's kind of like spilt milk. It doesn't matter. He got what he needed out of it. Even if he has to take the video down, he doesn't have to give back money. So I think that's where, at least as of right now, where all the controversy is coming, is people reacting, because it's really hard for independent creators to protect themselves in the current state of YouTube. So that's a rocky road right there, and I don't know what they're going to do about it, because copyright law was created far before the state of social media that we're in today, and it doesn't apply anymore. It's just too outdated. It's how could they have known when they wrote these laws? I mean, some of them are, I think, like the last copyright change they officially made was in 1996 or something crazy. So even in 96, think about, was there even internet in 96? I don't think so. Think about how much the atmosphere's changed as far as what needs to be done to protect people that have intellectual property that they own. Back when they made these laws, this was only to protect major movie studios in Hollywood and record labels, not to protect somebody that's making a reaction video or a movie review. So it doesn't apply. We're working in an outdated system, and YouTube as itself technically doesn't even have to protect or do anything. We're posting to them, so technically, as the platform, it's not legally their responsibility to have their algorithms that figure out, or their bots, whatever it is, that do the automatic flags. They don't even have to actually provide those services, but I think they were pressured by the courts to do so. But realistically, they could just walk away from it for right now at least, until they pass new laws or update the laws, whatever you want to call it, and say it's not our job, so you need to go through the proper channels, and that would make it so you'd be tied up in court for years, and most people can't even afford a lawyer or anything, and it usually will cost more for a lawyer than you'll get if you do win. So I think that a lot of people know that too, and it's like a lot of people don't file copyright claims. They kind of just let it go because it's a high risk, low yield situation. It's not something that's going to work out for you either way. If you win, you just end up maybe breaking even at best. It's a very, very weird and rocky atmosphere for creators right now, and there's a lot of people that I believe are just really unsure about the current state, about where YouTube's going to go, and what's the future of this. So I did want to ask you, when we were talking about the process, about what are you allowed to use technically. We're not talking about other YouTubers reacting, because you don't do that anyways, but what is the rules for you?
Oh, for when I'm doing my reactions, and when it comes to editing up, chopping up stuff, what can't I use? Yes, you cannot put up the full entire video. I made that mistake the first time ever I'd done a reaction of a TV show. I thought, oh, could I just put up the whole entire video? And yeah, WB took down my first ever Supernatural video. So I said, let me do it again and just chop up certain stuff. Still, they took it down. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? So I even went up to back and see other people. And one of my acquaintances was like, yeah, bro, you can't use the entire video, not even 44 minutes. If max, use like 22 minutes of the video. So I was like, really? Like, I was talking a lot during my Supernatural video, and I think a lot of people like want to hear this stuff. But it's just, you have to just roll with YouTube, and I gotta say, copyright is, in summary, a total bitch. It really is. They really don't, even if they pull out a video, sometimes they tell you what it is, sometimes they don't. I remember this point in time when you can't even monetize your video, which I never monetized my channel yet. But there are times when you put up a video and you have a certain clip and they say, oh, HBO doesn't allow this clip to be, in people's videos, but since you put it in there, you can't monetize it. And when people want to look at it, they're going to be seeing commercials before your video, or even put like multiple commercials. I don't know. But
yeah, I know that sometimes because I'm not monetized, but I had an old channel that was monetized, and I recognized that they would, if an HBO was one of I was doing Thrones stuff, so HBO was, because they have bots that just know from the code, and you would get the violations, and sometimes it'd be nice because you'd have a timestamp for it, and they'd provide that, and I guess that's probably just because there are people that are out there actively looking, but these are also just bots that are, there's certain settings that in certain flags they have that allow them to recognize, the use of this stuff. So yeah, sometimes it's more straight up, but I think the big issue is, like, you kind of just said it, like somebody told you use just 22 minutes, but what is there a number of minutes that you can use for a fact, or is that just playing it safe? Because I mean, that sounds so vague. It's like, well, just use like 22 minutes. It's like, well, is that going to be cool? I don't know. It might be. I mean, is that the actual number?
No, even that, he just gave me that number to roll it off, because there really is no true number. When you do these videos, you have to roll with your gut. Like, hopefully by the time it's, uploading to YouTube, maybe it won't get flagged, won't get taken down, it might not get demonetized. Even there are times when, before I even hit publish, and I'm just creating a thumbnail, they even flag me up like, hey, you can't use this and get paid for it. I'm like, what? I can't even hit the publish button before I can get monetized? Like, what's up here? And then it's even stranger how one time I did a reaction video to a trailer. A month passed, nothing went wrong. Suddenly they hit me with something. I'm like, why didn't you guys hit me up earlier before? But now you do. I don't know what's wrong with YouTube. I don't know. In my opinion, I think YouTube needs to get laid, and then all our problems will be solved.
Maybe they don't own the rights to getting laid, though, so they just don't want to infringe on those copyright laws. I think that, yeah, if we could all, and we're not even monetized because BBM, just like myself, I guess maybe I think we talked a little bit about this, but it's my belief that, you know, you just want to focus on creating quality content. I'm at the beginning stages of this new channel and / podcast, and I just am working on format and really kind of developing, hopefully growing in what will be a more polished product. So I'm not going to monetize because you got to be hitting a lot more views than a few hundred or even in the low thousands for you to really make real money. But do you have goals, even with all these issues, to monetize at some point? Because you've only been at this for 3 months and you've had your growth is your everything. If you look at the first 3 months of what you've been doing and use that as the precedent and just assume that that's going to be continuing, you know, because you're making quality content, you should eventually grow into something that could be a profitable business. Is that your goal with this, is my question, or are you just doing it because you enjoy doing it? Because even though you enjoy doing it, there's a hell of a lot of work still. So is this a business thing for you? I know you obviously have a regular job and are going to school, but do you see this turning into more?
Into like a full-fledged business? As of now,
yeah.
When I started out, it was just simply a hobby, and at the time, school wasn't as much difficult, you know, because at the time I was like finishing up my bachelor's. But now I'm in my master's program, and it requires me to do more field work and more papers to be done. And not too long ago, I received my first ever code while doing YouTube. And there are times when I normally be uploading 2 to 3 reactions, and now it's been like 1 reaction a day almost. So if there's ever a time where I do click that monetization button on, it's going to be if I'm in the 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers, that I know that the point when I upload is going to be like 100 views automatically for those who actually just hit the notification bell on, because you'd be surprised when people just be uploading videos and there's like rarely less than 100 people actually tune in from that notification thing. And from my understanding, YouTube says, oh, it's best if you have the monetization when you reach 1,000, as if you're actually more devoted to your work. Yet I've seen people with less than 1,000 put that monetization on, and they're even more devoted than I am. So it's like, when do you truly put it on? As of now, YouTube right now, for me, my channel is more of a hobby. If I ever gain over 1,000 or even 10,000, which I'll even be shocked if I ever even reach over 10,000, you know, if I want to at the time, and if I'm a little bit have more time to take care of my videos, to get a better screen monitor, whatnot, who knows, I will put it on and be a little bit more devoted to it than just simply just being a regular hobby. But who knows, because like you said, I'm in school, I'm getting a master's soon. Within a year and a half, I should be graduating soon. And if I gain 5,000 or so, who knows, I might just say I might not go into teaching, but you know what, at least I got my master's in education, you know. But
yeah.
As of now, who knows?
Well, I think it's interesting, and I think it kind of ties into what we're talking about with the legal issues right now, because that can really affect. That's kind of why I wanted to kind of feel out what your general feeling was about it.
And left and right, you never know. Something that could be a good video could end up being taken down, and I have nothing to fall back on, really, just except for my YouTube channel. So it's.
I think, yeah, that's like. I think it really changes, like, because I'm the same way. You know, I worked as a professional DJ for 11 years, and I ran a company that we provided services for clubs and weddings, but I'm just out of that business now. But yeah, I have a separate professional life, you know, and this is a hobby for me, but I do have a production background, and I'm in the mindset of I want to do everything correctly to give myself the best chance of turning this into something that's profitable, but I also just have such a passion for stuff like this content, and I believe you do too, and that's what makes you appealing, is because you can tell you're knowledgeable about your content, and also you can tell that you are passionate about it, that you're not just doing it for a paycheck, because right now there is no paycheck. It seems like most people are pivoting towards supplementing their income through means other than the traditional YouTube monetization. People are getting sponsors. Obviously, Patreon is huge. So I don't think people are counting on YouTube as much as they used to. And I think that's probably smart. Because like I said, if you just go by your numbers and the amount of time you're doing it, everything indicates that if you continue growth like that, but nothing is assured in this business, that's for sure. You should end up at a point where you have a, few thousand subscribers to even much, much more in the future. So you kind of gotta plan a little bit, and I think that a lot of people are pivoting towards things like Patreon and getting independent sponsors, because you need to become everybody in the rare chance of real success in this business. You need to be prepared to have a system set up that you're able to, actually take advantage of it. You don't want to end up not being able to make money off a channel that grew into something because you didn't plan right. So that's my way of thinking. I think I probably should focus in the future, when I want to do it, on obtaining sponsorships and Patreons and avenues like that. You want to become less and less dependent on YouTube for the way you make your money, because in the end, we could upload, and I do, for a podcast, I upload to like 24 different platforms, technically. So everybody can keep doing what they're doing without YouTube, technically. But right now, there's still money to be made from YouTube. If the day comes where that money stops coming, then people will start utilizing other platforms. So I think it's a real time of, just uncertainty for people right now, and even people at the lower spectrum in the grand theme of things. If you're creating content, I guess it's just smart to think as though you're going to be successful one day. So if the rare chance it really happens and you get a few million subscribers, you're set up to actually reap the benefits off it. But that's my little way of thinking. When it comes to, like you're saying, people loading videos and they're monetized and they're not getting any views, stuff like that. How many? Because like what you said, it is YouTube that actually says it's 1,000 subscribers is what they recommend you have before monetizing.
Yes, that's what YouTube recommends.
So right now, I'm looking at a little stat sheet right here. It's a crazy amount of hours that are uploaded every minute. I'm trying to find the stat right here. Okay. Yeah, like YouTube has 300 hours of video that are uploaded every minute. 300 hours every minute. That's crazy. So there's no lack of competition, that's for sure. It's actually quite diluted at this point. But 300 hours of video per minute. I can't imagine what that costs just for servers in their actual storage space. I don't think YouTube as a individual company within Google has technically turned a profit ever. But in business, and we won't get into it, obviously, there's ways they make money off YouTube, but YouTube as a individual, if you just look at it as a singular thing, they don't turn a profit. YouTube obviously contributes to Google's overall worth, but them as a department, they spend more than they get. So, because you got to imagine 300 hours of video a minute, that's insane. But I don't know. It's hard to imagine life without YouTube right now, just for even watching or getting my entertainment. I hardly even watch regular TV, but I'm sure that there will come a day that people will start pivoting if they don't get stuff like this figured out. So back to what you're saying about you had a YouTuber that reacted to your reaction. Was it negative? Was it positive?
Oh, it was positive, but not like they only just took my clips and put it where other those combination ones. It was never a YouTuber who was like, "Hello, we're going to be watching, Broke Black Man." It was never like that.
Gotcha. where does the name Broke Black Man come from?
Oh, that name originated from one of my reactions to the Nintendo Switch. Originally, that wasn't even my channel name, Broke Black Man. It was David the Saint. That was it. Originally, that was my channel name, and it kind of like ran for like what, 7 or maybe 6 videos or so. And then when the Nintendo Switch, like that trailer, the first ever trailer to it or so, came on, I was reacting to it, and before I even started the video, I was like, you know what, I'm also just call myself a broke black man in America, because from all these trailers I'm reacting to, from the money of me owing my college of student loan debt, and me thinking about getting the Nintendo Switch, I'm going to be broke. And then later on, in that comment section of that same video, I get some subscribers saying that, hey, you know, you might as well just call yourself a broke black man, you know, and see how that rolls with it. And I just adapted to it immediately. You know, it was kind of a little bit more memorable to be known as Dave the Saint, because I don't want people to come to my channel thinking it's a religious channel.
Well, I think it's a natural progression that obviously if you're David the Saint, that your next thing is going to be Broke Black Man.
Yeah.
I think it's very, you know, that's just organic. So, yeah, I love it. I mean, I think that it's catchy, and it's definitely, it plays off a stereotype and all that. I'd like to bring up that, well, this is a new channel, but I've had a few casts that I've recorded and haven't been released yet, and I work with co-hosts trying to do the more review-based cast of the broadcast, and usually everything is done very late at night. So the content creator that is known as Broke Black Man requested his interview to be at 10 a.m. So it's kind of, you know, you think, oh, I got an interview with Broke Black Man. Somebody tells you that, you're like, oh, when's that? You're like 10 o'clock in the morning, because he's got to go and he's got a bachelor's degree and he's got to do this and that and that. But you know, so it's kind of funny. So definitely not unmotivated black man. That's kind of a sad state of our country there, that your username's Broke Black Man, and what are you broke from? All your damn schooling, trying to better yourself. So hopefully one day you'll be fiscally responsible and secure black man. I don't think it's catchy though. David the Saint. Wow. Yeah. I think that was a good call. That was a good call. Stick away from that.
And I still get some subscribers saying, like David the Saint better.
David the Saint.
It's too late. I'm dive deep into it now. And funny it is, like, sometimes when I'm doing my reaction videos, I'd be like, hey guys, Broke Black Man. Sometimes I'd be saying, hey guys, David the Saint. You know, it comes out sometimes.
Yeah, well, I think it just shows your heavenly appeal, and it definitely gives me an insight to how you view yourself. So, you are a saint, my friend. Well, you are a good guy. But I want to talk a little bit about, say, that you think reaction videos are reaction videos, that it's fair to use it as kind of like a blanket term, for lack of a better term. You don't consider there to be actual subgroups within this?
Like majority, well, you could say that there are kind of like subgroups within it, as if, you know, people react to movie trailers, TV shows, challenges, or other YouTube videos, you know, or nibbles. Yeah, but it's all truly just, in a sense, one blanket of reaction videos, but subgenre, like reaction to what, you know? It's like you're going to see a movie, but what kind of movie are you going to see? You know, there's action, there's thriller and whatnot, so
yeah, I guess it comes down to just there's different styles, just like with anything.
Even that, so they do it, because me, I'm using OBS. I know other people do other softwares, and some people even like record what's on the TV or show a mirror.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Again, I want to say OBS for all your needs. Not sponsored by OBS, but I'd like to be. OBS, it gets you there. David the Saint uses it. Yeah, I saw some mirror. I don't like that one bit at all.
But the mirror technique?
Yeah. I don't like a lot of that, but I prefer your method. I don't. When people are videotaping the screen,
it's like the only one that you can truly see the entire show, minus the commercials. But you don't see the whole thing, but at least you get an idea. You
I know.
That's like the closest thing a reactor can actually get the entire thing without flags or anything. You know?
Well, I guess that's interesting though, because like I said, I find it fascinating. I do find this area fascinating, and not only because of all the controversy over it, but over the the psychological end of it. And at first I thought, before I really knew much about the area, that maybe this is, and some people do, I know that some of the guys that got under attack, or that became the focus of a lot of the scrutiny and the whole reaction to reactions thing, they even cited that people watch them because they want to, it's like watching a film or a show with a friend, and that doesn't really hold true, because you can't watch the whole, you're not watching along, because it's not the whole episode, because of, like we said, the trimmed out legal system that YouTube's got right now, or that copyright law is, the state of copyright law right now, doesn't allow you to sit there and watch a whole video with anybody. Not for very long anyways. It's going to get taken down. So I guess the mirror's the only way to do that. But do you think that that's what people want? Do they want to watch it with you? Or is it just more like we were saying before, it's more of we have a deep rooted urge and need to reassure our own feelings, and it's not that much different. It's just like I said, different medium to convey your thoughts on something, just like a review does. It's just, it's not spoken as much, even though you do have commentary in it, but it's, more through physical movements and activity, other than just sitting there and giving a breakdown by word. So do you feel that people want to watch it with you? Is that something that, let's say there's no violations, we're living in a carefree world and everybody's great, do you think that would be something that people would just start doing? Would you personally, if there was no copyright issues whatsoever, would you post the whole episode?
In all honesty, I would try to post the whole episode, because like I mentioned earlier, when I did my Supernatural reaction, what did I do? I kind of post the entire episode, not because I didn't know the whole rules and stipulations and whatnot. I wish I can actually do that now. Like, I wish that there are times when I can do a Walking Dead live stream where I can show people, hey, this is what I'm going to be watching, this is what I'm going to be completely talking about, than just me doing a... Because I've done it before, though, but never to show the video. It's just basically me, people see my reactions, and just me doing a description. Occasionally I was talking to someone else because I allowed someone else to join the Google Hangout. But again, occasionally I would always look at the live chat, and I would see a lot of people saying, where's the video, where's the video, where's the video, and then they're leaving. So there are times when I do kind of like wish that I would also have the video up there, Just I missed something, and someone might bring it up like, hey, maybe there was that scene that you didn't talk about, but, since it's there, let's talk about it,
Yeah, because you in the end have to essentially decide what are the important points that you are going to want to hit on. So that can leave disappointment for some, I would imagine, because you didn't show it, like you just said. Yeah, I didn't know if you, because obviously you did the first episode, just because you, at that point, were ignorant of the, and again, ignorant, it doesn't mean you're stupid, you just didn't know the fucking rules for YouTube, and that, I don't know the rules since they change day to day, but you really would use that format, even though it would because I don't know if I'd want to watch anything that's even more than a half hour to 40 minutes. I don't know. So, I guess it's obviously opinion and preference, but do you think that more people, I guess that's my question, are more people wanting that? Is that a valid thing to say, that people want to watch reaction videos because they want to watch their favorite shows with somebody?
Yeah, I just believe that that's one of the reasons why. It's like what you brought up earlier. It's kind of like they're watching with a friend or someone who has the same common interest as them, and like, does someone else, have this same point? Because there are shows that I watch where none of my friends watch.
Yeah.
Talk about like Westworld. I'm like, my close friends, they don't watch Westworld. Some don't watch like Once Upon a Time, and like, I don't do reaction videos on them, but I do go to other people and their channels and do reactions on it now. And there's like Walking Dead. Not many my friends watch Walking Dead. Only besides
Who are your friends?
Trust me.
You are describing people that I did not know exist. I mean, like, you just described like the
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's like the millennial playbook, dude. Like everybody, like, who are these
Game
people?
of Thrones. There's like a little handful of people. Some people gotta like urge them to watch Game of Thrones, but there was a time when like some of my closest friends never watched it. So I'm just like, why is no one watching this here? And then you gotta go to YouTube.
Well, I mean, I honestly want to know who your friends are. Like, you can't throw a fucking rock in any direction without hitting a group of people that all have not only watched Game of Thrones but have a crazy theory about it. Wow.
Exactly, or they just watch
No
one
wonder.
season and then they just stop. I'm just like, what? When I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones, I was hooked instantly. I was waiting for the next week episode immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously. That's really weird, man. We're gonna have to have you on for another cat. We're gonna have to get these people on for an intervention. I mean, Jesus, what are they watching? Grey's Anatomy? I mean, I get it.
Most of them just watch like the superhero shows, like The Flash and whatnot. But it was
That's weird, though. Don't you agree? Because like if those things usually, I mean, I'm not trying to just like again make a blanket statement, but most people that enjoy shows like The Flash and likes Marvel or DC content, that they're most likely gonna at least watch Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, or Westworld. One of them. One of them. You know what I mean? But they're not. Oh wow, it just seems like they go together. But I don't watch CW stuff, but I watch everything else. So wow, man, I'm getting off topic here. That blows my mind. I almost want to fact check you. I don't want to meet these people. So, but yeah, like you said, so you want to not only know their thoughts, but so you would you yourself watch along with another reactor?
Most definitely, I would. I would actually watch along with one on some days, because I'm acquainted with another YouTuber who does reactions. And there are times when we actually watch the same show together at times. But we never like ever partnered up and like, okay, we're going to do a reaction and we're going to either post it on my channel or your channel. That never did happen though.
You got to do the crossover, man, the collab.
No, the only collabs I ever did was one time I did on Walking Dead. I think I did another show, or I plan to in the future, where I just didn't show the video, but it was just me and someone else, and we just talked. While it aired and during the commercials, we just talked about it.
Yeah.
That's closest to a collab we ever did on a live show.
Yeah. Well, because obviously we're just getting acquainted, but I've known of you for a little bit through the Mino and all that, and you definitely are. That's why one of my original thoughts was, before I really watched your videos, was because because I've heard your views, I've seen things that you've done other than your reaction videos, and you popped up in some of the same circles. I know you're intelligent about, these intellectual properties. So I kind of wondered at first. I'm like, why doesn't he just do a review show? I mean, and I've already, we went over this, that it's pretty much the same concept, and it's just the way you're conveying it. But yeah, that was my question, because you definitely are knowledgeable. I respect your opinion. I think that's important it's obviously important in general, but I don't think that many people are going to watch somebody that they don't think has an intelligent or at least interesting perspective or grasp on the show, and I think that's why. Is that why you kind of focus on interjecting dialogue into your reactions, even though some people literally say nothing?
Yeah.
to let them know that, hey, you do know what the fuck's going on. Because you can do as much acting with your expressions as humanly possible. I mean, you still need to say a few things to, let people know you know what's happening. Like, I could tell he understood this narrative by his eyes. So I think that I enjoy it, but is that why you inject it in there? And is there sometimes that maybe you would rather just do a more traditional review or recap type of segment?
Now, during my reaction videos, yeah, I do say a little bit like a review, like after I do the initial reaction, like during like the last 5 to 10 minutes, I do that little segment.
Yeah.
Eventually, I actually started to do live streams, or actually do kind of like a review recap. At first, I did it with The Walking Dead. I did a segment called The Good, the Bad, The Walking Dead, where I talk about the good stuff, the bad stuff, the in between, because not every Walking Dead episode has its moments.
No, I am working on that myself. I find that I come off way too negative, even though I love these shows. Like I said, I don't make money off this or the blog, that Westworld Amino that I run, and that actually takes like a lot of my time. Like, I always have my phone like with the app open at work and stuff, and I'm responding to people, I'm doing things with the upkeep, and that's not a paid gig. Like, I really like this stuff, and I don't know if that's what makes me be more critical of it, but I find that, especially with the first few casts I've done, that when I listen to them, I'm like, damn, it sounds like I hate this show. And then I'm like, do I hate this show? Yeah, no, I like it, but I don't know, maybe
for Walking Dead 2, and it was a way how I was ranting about wherever Rick Grimes goes, everything always falls to shit. Excuse me, my language. And the way how I said it, one of the people who I had on my panel was like, bro, do you like Walking Dead? Because the way that you were going at it just now, I'm like, no, I like it though, but I'm just saying, there are times when Rick goes to places, and every time he goes there, it always falls to shit. Like, where he doesn't have the Midas touch, what he touches does not turn to gold, it turns to shit.
No, it turns into what Alexandria is now. Spencer's like, he came here, I think, my favorite character, Spencer, who I was devastated to lose. God bless his heart. He said it perfectly, that, Rick showed up and, his parents are dead. I'm sorry, what was that?
I gotta get you on my channel for a Walking Dead discussion, Justin.
I gotta be more positive, though, dude. Like, my last one was about that idiotic Forbes article, and I named the author or the contributor Paul Tassi or something, and I mean, not that my cast is that big yet and it'll get international attention, but I felt a little bad. I was like, oh man, I kind of because I meant to just use his bad article, like, for the one side of the coin, and then I had a positive article. It was all about the censorship, but this guy's article was such shit that I couldn't stop ranting. I guess maybe it's when things make me mad. This is now a psych show, I guess, but when things, I'm opening up about my feelings. When things make me mad, I guess I gotta get it out, and I didn't even get to the good part, or the good argument of the censorship and all that. But I was relieved to find, after I looked at his Twitter, and then I typed in his name because I use it as a tag. When you search him on YouTube, you find so many other people that have done videos, and then other bloggers that have written about this guy, and everything that was wrong with his article for the last the one he did in Forbes for The Walking Dead, and it's the censorship issue and all that. He's made these same mistakes, and he has these inconsistencies and conflicting views in his articles, and he just really doesn't seem to have a grasp on what he covers. And there's like a bunch of hate towards this guy. Not that I advocate hate, but it just seems like I'm like, how does he still have a job? I'm like, he gets a lot of hate sent his way. I'm like, wow, I probably hit a whole audience with this. I'm gonna do a anti-Paul Tassi cast. Probably start making money right away. But yeah, I would like to come on something. If you just like put a shock collar on me for any time I focus on the negative, I'd like to come on and do it, because I can get real sidetracked. And I don't, maybe is that because maybe I like the stuff so much that it makes me mad when something is, you know, hurting the integrity of it. I don't know, but
you have passion for it, though. I'd rather you have passion for it and say something about it than you just be silent about the whole thing.
It does seem
I remember
like
I did see your podcast about it, and I was like in the comment section, like, "Are you kidding me? Censorship on The Walking Dead?" Like, I would like to see them compare the show to the comic books and talk to me about censorship.
Yeah, it's just, you don't... I mean, there's a big issue with that. And then that idiot's take on it. You know, I mean, he was all over the map. Like I said, he had an issue with Spencer's. Or he didn't have any issue with Spencer, and he had an issue with, you know, obviously Glenn and Abraham. And that just tells you pretty much all you need right there of how he thinks about things, in my opinion. Of course, it's like, well, yeah, he's like, that doesn't need censorship because he wasn't emotionally affected by it. But the gore level was no different. I mean, he had his intestines. He was disemboweled in the middle of the street. And he's like, that was fine. He said that was fine, but they definitely, no doubt, went over the line with Glenn and Abraham. I can't start there. Yeah, positive. But I do find that, I guess, let's go back to the reacting videos. Do you even, because I went through at least, I'd say 80 to 90% of your videos, and I do like how we were talking about earlier about how you put the dialogue in there, and then you kind of do like a overall. It seems like you just started doing that more recently. Yeah. Not that. You kind of do like the overall rundown. Yeah. And I think maybe that's why I really take to your content more than the other reactors, maybe, because you give a nice balance. But yeah, I really like that aspect. But I haven't seen you be too negative about anything. Is that a conscious choice? Because I'm not trying to like say you're lying or anything, but I could take a note from other reviewers when it comes to, you can tell that they are trying to convey the good more than the bad, and I think it's probably smart because you are broadcasting the people that really like this show, so probably it's not the best way to get viewers to just shit all over something. And then after I'm done with the cast, I'm talking privately to somebody about everything I like. I'm like, I probably should have recorded that. But do you feel it's important to show what do you feel it's important to shine a positive light on these properties and content that you're watching? Because I haven't seen you be too negative. Is that just because you just aren't negative in general, or because it's definitely popular with reactions more than reviewers to have negative or any type of extreme action is going to be more, I guess, entertaining at face value. You know, there's definitely I mean, if you look at all those contemplations of videos, most of them are people breaking down or either with sadness or anger. So, but I see more balanced, at least, behavior out of you. I don't see you flipping out, you know. Is that a conscious choice?
It's more or less of a conscious choice, because in some of these recap videos I do, I mostly cater to like more of the good than of the bad. There are times when I do bring up like points where I'm like, I'm very pissed off of why the creators or actors choose this route, or why a story is heading this way. But if I look at the comment section, or I'm hearing someone else like debate, oh, Made broke, this is why they had to do it this way, then I just like immediately come out of that darkness and actually listen to people's opinion on whether, hey, I shouldn't just go completely dark side on them, or just period. Like for instance, when I first saw the Kingdom episode of The Walking Dead, I didn't really like it as much. It was like too slow, too amped. I was like, come on, why did they do this, you know? And then another person was talking about, well, come on, bro, they kind of had to do so, because we just had this kill scene from Negan this last episode. We need some falling action here. So it's like, oh no, maybe they actually kind of had to do that. And that was like the only episode they actually give us King Ezekiel. So maybe I kind of appreciated it a little bit even more now, you know. But then there's some episodes, some people I'm just hating. I hated on Spencer from the beginning. Even to his death, I was like, oh my god, really, they did that? I was shocked that Negan did kill him, and then I was like, damn, I hate Spencer, but the way he went down, though, I was like, you didn't quote me on that. But then that and Rosita, I was like, really? both of you at points, and sometimes I just idiots, but like, oh my goodness.
I actually went after I did that last Walking Dead cast and watched your reaction to it, to the Spencer death. I liked it, yeah, because and I did it for the exact reason we were talking about earlier. I wanted to reassure myself. It's true, you know what I mean? Because you mentioned that you did. I was like, oh man, I want to see that, because you were like, because I kind of felt bad about the negative, outlook I was having, and then I went and saw your reaction that just in that aspect of it, not negative, but in the way I felt about Spencer's, yeah, it fit. I was like, okay, good. It's like there's some positive reassurance. I guess it's important, to have a conversation with these shows. If you love something, you shouldn't just love it blindly. You have to acknowledge when shows are doing things incorrectly as much as you have to praise them. Because if you don't have discussions, if you just blindly and just accept everything they do because you like the show, then things like Dorne and Game of Thrones will continue to happen. Because they're like, well, nobody gave a shit last time we failed to tell a story and just kill everybody in 3 minutes to rid ourselves of the problem. They're like, it'll fly again. So they need to be... I feel that most reviewers are too soft, but I find that when I'm finding my footing here, I could be a little nicer. I might need to be Justin the Saint for a little bit. When talking about reaction videos, you kind of have to bring up the Fine Brothers. And I guess this was at the beginning of 2016 when they tried to do this. I want to know your thoughts on this. They tried to trademark the terms, and this goes along with the fair use. Remember, if not for you, BBM, I know you know, but for anybody listening, if you trademark any terms, then that gives you the ability to flag these videos like we spoke of earlier. So they attempted to trademark the terms kids react, adults react, celebrities react, and then at the very end they just tried to slip it in there. They tried to trademark react itself. If that would have went through, that would have caused big problems for you. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, like when that originally came out, I was even like doing reaction videos, or even the idea of doing a YouTube channel was even across my mind though. But was I a fan of the Fine Bros? Yes, I was. I'm still subscribed to them to this day. But that stunt that they pulled, React World, I was not a fan of it, and I was not even the only one. You would see
they lost 180,000 subscribers in 3 days.
The moment they upload a video, you see thousands upon thousands of people disliking it, overwhelming the thumbs up. I was like, are you kidding me? And then you could see them going down in the comment section. And that's when you kind of saw, you saw less and less of the Fine Bros in their videos, which I kind of disliked about it, because that's what kind of their personality, them being involved, kind of brought me closer to actually liking their channel. But now you're no longer seeing them, and seeing their workers there, then them doing the spoiling of the month segment they normally did, it became a little bit less of my appeal.
Yeah, I think that it's we talked a little bit about this before, but I think that YouTube as a platform is popular because, there's regular people making content, so it is way more relatable. And the truth is, and I like to use the example of, After Thrones. Have you ever watched After Thrones on HBO? That they just started it last season. It's those two guys with a few special guests that do a recap of the show. Yeah, we're not missing. It's terrible. They don't have a grasp on the. I'm not just being negative. Oh man, I am being negative, but they truly are not good at what they do, and it is the exact same format, except for with higher production value, that any recapper on YouTube does. They talk about what happened in an episode, and then they go over what they think is going to happen. I mean, your basic stuff, and they just don't. Man, they say some dumb shit. They do a bad job, and then they even have they try to acknowledge this by having a resident geek, and she comes out, and she probably knows a lot more than them, but she's also not great. My point is, any YouTuber that is of indecent standings, like 10,000 to 20,000 subs, you know, just play safe. Anybody that's got somewhat of a following on YouTube could go on and do that show and do it with so much more integrity and have it be worth something. Give it a little bit more substance is my point. You know, like these people, they don't have a grasp on the content and they don't have appeal. Like, you know, like nobody really likes it that's seen it. So my point is the common person, I think there's a great appeal in seeing somebody that's just like you, and this goes back to the reaction, seeing somebody just like you talking about the stuff that you like, and also somebody just like you that is intelligent and is breaking down some of these complex shows and other properties in an impressive way, you know. So it's like a common man type thing, if that makes any sense. So I think with the Fine brothers, they lost their appeal because guess what the common man doesn't do? They don't try to trademark words like react because there's no way around it. They claim they weren't trying to just dick everybody, but there's no way that they weren't. So you know what I mean? It's a move of a corporate fat cat. It makes them look like corporate tycoons and people. And I mean, they do have a lot of money now, but it makes them not relatable anymore and doing incredibly shady shit. And after that, like you said, they lost their appeal because, number one, you didn't see them as much, but do you think it probably would have been better for them to... I think people people definitely respect, it's been proven with presidents, when people admit their mistakes. I think that if they would have came out and gave a more sincere response to say, hey, we're trying to corner the market, can't blame us. You know, we're ambitious just like anybody else. But no, they just jumped off the world stage, or they stepped out of the spotlight, and now they hired other people to do reacting for them, which again puts a bad taste, at least in my mouth, because that's not personable. You're just sitting in an office somewhere. And I think the reaction genre itself really says this more than anything, whether you like it or not, that the attachment and the closeness that people feel to the content creators is what drives it. So I think things like YouTube Red and stuff like that, even though their content is higher production value and stuff, I have a subscription right now, but it's just a free one. I finally allowed them to give me the free trial. Like, I always turn it down. And some of it's interesting, but I don't think that they're really understanding that YouTube is very, very popular because it's not network TV. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when people get too corporate, they lose their appeal. The most popular guys, I'm not a fan of PewDiePie, but he keeps his channel. I mean, that guy has so much money, and if you watch his video, it looks like he's living in a dungeon.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of PewDiePie.
Yeah, I don't like him, but you know what I mean? You can't argue. He's got 38 million people or something like that, and he still records in like a soundproof room he made himself, you know, with like a mic that's a few $100, nothing that's out of reach for, you know, people in the business. He doesn't do it on a sound stage, is my point. Even though the quality's good and all that, he's not. It doesn't look like he's on a late night. You know, he didn't pivot, and when he got really successful, and change his format. I think that's a big mistake for all these guys, that once they hit success, I think they try to mimic what we see on, like, you know, network TV. They're like, oh, people, I'm doing so well, they like me, but they like them because it's like, this is your average guy just like you, and they're very relatable. And I mean, like I said, the reaction genre is just living proof of it. It is something that people are outraged by, yes, because they don't completely understand it, or some people just, if they don't like something, they have to hate it, and they can't be indifferent. But it's popular, and a lot of people are doing it, and some of the highest paid people are content creators that do reaction videos. So if that doesn't tell you that people want to see people just like them, I don't know what does. It's the everyman appeal. So, you know, I think that was smart that you went against the David the Saint. He's literally like the opposite of everyman. You were actually a Fine Brothers fan. And mm-hmm. was it the trademarking that more turned you off, or like you said, was it more?
It was just them slowly disappearing from their channel up front as like the face of it, and just like I'm just guessing. This is my opinion. that in order for them to like to ease off the hate, they just said, you know what, let's just hire other of our interns or whoever to like be the face of it, and we just be, you know, the corporate people, as you put it, in the background.
Yeah,
I wasn't feeling it because it was them who I was introduced to when I got into the channel. It was hearing their voices and seeing them appearing, you know, week after week, and so doing certain segments. But then just seeing other people who, when I look at them, they're just not enthusiastic. They're just reading off, and from what I see, it looks like they're just reading off a page. So it's like, really?
Well, the Fine Brothers give them a script, so. But yeah, it's not personal anymore. You know, they got successful, so they think, oh, now I'm going to do what, you know, big network TV does. And it's like, well, you're successful because people aren't watching big network TV. I mean, the average mobile viewing on YouTube, like that, it's 40 minutes long. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's a crazy amount of time for somebody to be watching shit on their phone. This is not, people should not try to like, people shouldn't, especially once they got successful through what are now becoming orthodox ways. But that's why I want to do this segment so much, behind the scenes of YouTube. And I think some people will still say, well, that's silly, who gives a shit about what those people are doing? Well, look at the numbers. I'll actually do them at the beginning of the show. Quite a lot of people give a shit about what's going on, more than network TV. Network TV is scared shitless right now because of what's going on here. So I think that it's really interesting to explore these different avenues. And I think you see a lot of people making these mistakes of trying to just do what would be the right move in 1990. But they didn't use the methods those people got. They didn't get there through the methods those people got, so they don't apply. Like I said, PewDiePie, do you think he doesn't have the money to go get a set, like on a soundstage? He's got the money. He doesn't do it because he's actually being intelligent. I don't like his content, but he's definitely intelligent. He's doing what he's always done because it works. He's not like, I have money now, so now I'm going to do this. That doesn't make any sense. So I think that's real interesting. And you can see it with YouTube Red. They're trying to give it away. That's their way of trying to make more money. It's kind of cool how you get a lot more collaborations within like channels. Like, I'm a big SourceFed, I'm a big Funny or Die, College Humor guy, Rooster Teeth. So you get to see collaborations between big YouTubers, and they do longer segments, and they have better production value. But again, I'll go watch HBO. So I think that, I mean, what, you do yours in your room, I'm assuming, where you shoot?
No, I just shoot from home.
No, yeah, in your actual room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you started making millions of dollars, it probably wouldn't be smart to go like sit like in a Superdome with like the craziest fucking maybe that is smart. That actually is a cool idea now I say it. But it wouldn't be smart to go. I mean, because it's like
if I'm watching Rogue Black Man here, one day you might see me in my room. Next time you see me, it's in front of this, as you say, a stadium. People gonna be shady like, oh, what's going on here?
You're like, I sold the fuck out. That's what's going on. And you're like, oh, and I'm only here to do the introduction. Here's these people I hired. They're going to be doing the reacting. See you later. I'll get my check. But yeah, I don't know. But just a little. So as we said before, the reactors tend to get a little bit more heat than your regular content creator, or not regular, or other content creators that do different genres on YouTube. In my opinion, from the research that I've done recently, I ran into a lot of people that were really more so upset with the, like we talked about a minute ago, the reacting to reaction. Sorry. I think that those that were indicated in a lot of these videos and a lot of these attack videos that went back and forth were those people like Jinx and Tyrone Magnus, and I personally didn't care for their response and how they handled it. So they didn't take a lot of responsibility, and they also claim they didn't make any money, which, with the information out there, it's clear that they're lying, because we can actually access to how many views they have and who their sponsors are, and you know who they actually are partnered with. You know, if you're partnered with YouTube, then you can kind of figure it out. It's not exact, but if somebody's partnered with YouTube and they have so many, watches and blah, 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 so many views and their view times this number, you can kind of get a rough estimate of how the money coming in for them, you know. You'll never know for sure, but you'll know around. And both those guys definitely make money off YouTube. And they responded to these allegations. They answered these allegations with a lot of excuses that kind of conflicted each other in the end. The first was they didn't make any money off them. The second was Jinx lied about being partnered with YouTube. And Tyrone Magnus just spewed out a whole bunch of BS. I don't think they handled themselves real well. And it seems like everybody from the Fine Brothers to this, I think they're called the Reaction Committee that involves both of those gentlemen I just named, they don't conduct themselves very well outside of their reacting videos when they're shoved into the public spotlight, I guess is my point, because they were kind of the center of all that controversy. So I don't think there's been too many reactors that have done well in defending what they do. Do you kind of agree with that, or what's your view? I think that, you know, and not everybody is good, especially under pressure like that or being called out. You know, that's a bad situation to be in. But saying you didn't make money, saying things that are blatant lies, and being pretty crude and responding to things with a lot of anger and hate other than actually, you know, giving a intelligent and well put together, you know, defense for yourself, screaming about how you don't make motherfucking money and all this, when 2 weeks ago I think Jinx said, I don't make any money, you stupid fuckers. All you fuckers think that I make all this fucking money. I'm speaking as he spoke. You know, he's like, we don't make that much money. And then you can go back 2 weeks and see him talking and bragging and throwing around literal money. So I don't know if he forgot that he did that, but again, he recorded and put it on YouTube, so he had references to go and be like, oh shit, yeah, I probably shouldn't say this because I made this whole video of me being an asshole. So I don't think that the reactors have gotten the best publicity, and again, like I said, I wouldn't want to ever just be thrusted into the spotlight like that, but it's definitely not helping. You don't have too many people that have been the focus of this type of content that have depicted themselves very well. Is that something you'd agree with, or is that even something you follow?
To be honest, I never even followed Jinx and what's the other one? Tyrone, is it?
Yeah.
Or so. Like, I've been always recommended to watch them, and every time I do, I have like a terrible attention span where I wouldn't even last that long because either they're barely saying anything or they're just reacting to another YouTuber doing reactions. So I'm like, so in the end of the day, who's really getting content created? Who actually created the dang video?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And yeah, I of course agree. And again, this reassurance here, I like that you feel this way because I also don't watch them by any means. But when researching this topic, they are unavoidable. You have to look at them because I found that they were really, them and the Vine brothers were the only people in the damn news about it, you know? So that's not a great, there's not a team of great people that represent the community.
So that if you want to look up YouTubers about reactions and the only thing you're receiving is either the Fine brothers or these two individuals, and it's just bad publicity on them. That really is a bad picture of how to paint reactors. And maybe that's why they keep on saying that we're just lazy individuals who just pop out content left and right. That is something that, you know, YouTube really should just, you know, stop promoting. But again, if they keep on getting about thousands upon millions of views, and that's what's getting people onto YouTube, best believe they're going to be promoting them than the others who are actually showing good actual content.
Yeah, there's people that, you know, like, it's not just because I'm speaking to you, a little bit, but I you put out quality content, you know, and you're not making money, and you aren't some disillusioned person that it's just put all their eggs in the YouTube basket, because just statistically speaking, it's not smart. But of course, you know, I mean, if it, like we talked about earlier, if it works out, it works out, and hell yeah, you're game and you're doing things properly. But yeah, we're not going to get too many stories about that. So it's kind of unfortunate that the representatives of this community are about the worst representatives you could possibly have. I believe Jinx watched, I forget his name. He's a British guy, and he does a lot of these drama videos, which is another thing I want to talk about really quick. And he had his video reacted to by Jinx, and they said, it was either Jinx or Tyrone Magnus. He said 7 words during the video, and it got like 180,000 views before they took it off. And again, he got all the money for those views, you know, Jinx. Or whoever, Tyrone Magnus or Jinx, so don't care. And guess what those 7 words were? Damn, this video is long.
Wow. Oh my God, damn.
I think it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit of PR, but I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, you guys would have to then get like a PR person to be like, hey, we're not all pieces of shit. But yeah, I mean, it's not like YouTubers in general have I think from people that are a little bit older, I'd say, you know, people now 40s and over probably don't view them in the best light in general, because they just don't respect what they do, only because they're used to what they're used to, and they don't transition as easy. But yeah, the reaction community in general, that's why I find it so interesting to talk about, is it's very controversial, and it's very interesting. The psychological aspect of it itself is amazing to me. Like, you know, like I sent you those case studies and stuff that I was reading about, and there's some real, like, you know, deep-rooted stuff that comes out of this, and it's nothing's as simple as it seems, number one, but, you know, there's a lot of things to explore. But that's what's so interesting about YouTube, and why I want to do this segment every chance I get, is because we brought up the people that you said YouTube probably shouldn't promote as much, these drama networks, you know, that are pretty much just like the TMZs, but even worse, of YouTube. But again, it's a business, so they do what gets the most views, and negativity gets a lot of views. So, you know, I mean, there's this whole movement of news on, who would have thought when YouTube came out that there'd be news channels about stuff that happens on YouTube? You know what I mean? I mean, it's just crazy. So unfortunately, they're mostly drama news. But yeah, there's people that now make a living off reacting to people reacting. There's people that make money off doing both legitimate and both just gossip about YouTubers in itself. I mean, it's becoming a whole new monster. So I think it'll be real interesting to see where it goes, and if the independent creators like yourself can continue to thrive in it, or if they will find a way to make it just like everything else, just like regular network TV, because they don't realize that. I mean, I'm 30. When I was graduating high school and I was in my production classes and going to school for screenwriting and acting and stuff like that, your only chance was to submit a spec script, or, you know, I had a buddy that did extra work out in LA. I went out there with him for a little bit. You know, I mean, it's like you had to really grind it out. And I do remember really quick relating the LA buddy of mine that we did acting together, and then he went out there and I went out there with him. He did extra work, but he got paid by MTV in 2004 to do, if you go like outside their LA studios, there's just people handing out like consent forms for anybody that wants to like be part of their like test footage for shows that are in pre-production, shows that they're trying to feel out, they're trying to test out what works. And when I was actually visiting, I visited for a few months, he went for a full week for this show, and I didn't understand what the hell it was about. He said, I'm just watching different movies and television clips, and there's a camera on me, and they're recording like what I do, how I react. He's like, so I just like acted mad the whole time. I didn't know what they wanted me to do. And now that clicked in my mind the other day, I'm like, damn, that was them. Like, you know, because this is before YouTube was even a thing. I was like, that was them catching on to the trend. They didn't even, I don't believe it might have aired, but they were there. They were biting on that worm, to say, I mean, they understood that there was potential in it, evidently. Like I said, I mean, just because you do one of these weird shows or go for testing, a lot of them don't make it. But yeah, I just remembered that the other day, and I was like, wow. I was like, they were almost there. So they knew it was coming. It took about 8 to 9 years for it to really come to fruition, but it's definitely a big thing now. But other than the terrible ambassadors that you have for what you do, I think that overall there's no doubt that the type of content you create has a good chance of sticking around for a while, and especially people like yourself that make it so there's substance. You're not going to hear just 7 words in one of BBM's videos until right after this interview. He'll probably make one to spite me. He's like, that asshole said I'd never say 7 words. But you do have like I said, we met through kind of part of the same circle to a point. I think it's fair to say of, there's a group of content creators that we all kind of try to work together to a point. And I know that one of your big, so definitely if you are going to venture out and check out some content that you are maybe missing out on, and you could maybe work into your YouTube routine, I would definitely start with my gracious guest and a great guy all around, Broke Black Man, aka BBM, aka David the Saint. And he does reaction videos to Vampire Diaries, Gotham. He does some video games. He does movie trailers, Supernatural, The Flash, The Walking Dead, Westworld, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and he does some anime too. And like I said, I really enjoy his content because he makes sure to give you a breakdown at the end of the episode, his own personal thoughts. I, for one, really like his take on the content and think it's just as good as any of the major just classic review shows that are out there. So it's a little bit of a taste of both worlds in his show, in my opinion. Is there anything you would like to announce coming up, BBM, or anything that I might have forgot?
Well, also I do live streams, so in case like during the end of certain seasons or before a certain season premiere, I might end up doing like a live stream, like recap on what I'm anticipating for the show.
But yeah, definitely check him out. And like I said, looking into this topic, and that's why I love this segment, is YouTube is a fascinating platform, and I look forward to having on more guests from different aspects and areas, and so I definitely look forward to doing more of these. Anytime I can get a interview that relates to a topic I want to cover, we will do one. There's no regular schedule, so make sure to check out the broadcast, which we're trying to do once a week, which I'm going to have a few different co-hosts with me, and we will cover a variety of subjects, including The Walking Dead, Black Sails, Game of Thrones, and Westworld, and actually Vikings as well, even though the season's coming to an end. So you kind of get a little bit of everything with that, or at least the main focus of this podcast. So we try to drop in a little bit for you, a little bit of everything. So then if you still want to go watch an in-depth 2-hour shot by shot, you can. So, and if you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, it is a new program. It is a YouTube channel / podcast, just going by the name Justin Thomas Show, but we're having different segments. This one is YouTube Confidential, where I interview people from the industry, and we talk about different areas and issues, topics, and we try to give you a inside, behind-the-scenes look into this fascinating, crazy world of YouTube and its content creators. So I'm Justin Thomas. I'd like to thank Broke Black Man one more time for coming on. You've been great. You've been actually really great. I had a rough morning, so and I am going to link all of his information, I mean all of it, Social Security, everything, in the info. But definitely go and subscribe to his channel, like his videos, watch his videos, and any other Anything you want to plug right now that's coming up soon? Or
No, not really. Besides him, I'm rather reacting. Ugh, tongue-tied there now. Ugh.
yeah, I fucked you up. So
Yes, again, reaction videos, such like, depending on what time you're going to be hearing this, the Flash videos, and hopefully this Wednesday I'll be starting up the 100 reaction video.
if you have any questions for me or suggestions on the show or the podcast, just make sure to follow any of the links in the description box below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you have already not done that. And I will be, of course, linking my fantastic guest information in the description box below as well. I believe that you have. So make sure to check out the content. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys soon.
That's good advice.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
What's going on, everybody? It's Justin Thomas, and this is